Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, hi, hello, welcome. My name is Kate and I'm just a hopeless romantic that loves to read. Today, I'm so excited to do this video today because I recently had a friend reach out to me just before the New Year's. She was doing her 2026 goals and one of them is to start reading. And I was like, yes, slay. So her friends all read. Obviously, she follows me in my socials knowing that I read. So she was like, oh, okay, like I want to start reading. I'm done with the doom scrolling. I'm done with using my free time, downtime, watching TV all the time, doing basically brain damaging stuff, brain, mind numbing, whatever you want to call it. And I was like, yeah, cool. I'm so happy that you want to start reading. Like, what are your friends telling you to read? Like, what are the recommendations you're getting? And she was like, one of them was being Icebreaker by Hannah Grace, which is a very popular book and it's intense, right? There's a lot of explicit scenes in it and there's a lot to it. So I was like, look, I wouldn't recommend that to you. I was like, give me a second and I'll curate kind of like a few books that I think that you're going to enjoy, you're going to appreciate starting with, and they're going to introduce you to a lot of things. So I know that if you jump online now, say TikTok or Instagram, and you start following these BookTok people or these famous content book creators, and that you start seeing what they like and what they read, and pushing a lot of these popular books, they're not necessarily always a good place to start because they're very overwhelming. They can be very complex. They can be very intense as well. So I think I've done a pretty good job with my kind of beginner friendly guide to romance books. I have personally read all of these books and I'm only going to recommend books that I have read and I think that you would enjoy as a reader, especially as a beginner. If you are trying to re-spark your love for reading again, I think a few of the later ones are going to be great for you. So I've kind of separated a whole list here into 5 tiers or 5 steps on working your way through. So there's a wide variety of tropes in this. So a trope is something like just aspects of a book. So whether it's in a small town, or if it's a grumpy ex-sunshine, so he's grumpy and she's a sunshine, or if it's a forced proximity, so they might be working together, they might be roommates. If it's a second chance, so this is a second chance at trying something again. If it's forbidden, right? So there's just a lot of tropes out there. You've probably heard of maybe enemies to lovers as well. I would highly recommend Googling tropes so you have an understanding of what books might have. They tend to have maybe 3 to 5 tropes depending on how big the book is, how complex the story is, and what the plot is going to have. So the plot is the storyline. That's another little word for there. Another thing that you might be hearing a lot is maybe an MMC and an FMC. So we have a male main character, MMC, and a female main character, FMC. Those are 2 things that you're probably going to hear a lot. You're probably going to see a lot of star ratings and chili pepper ratings. So star ratings is pretty much how much you enjoyed the book. Then you have your chili spice peppers here for the explicit scenes. Every content creator is different. Every person is different when it comes to reading and what they think about a book. Reading is very, very subjective. So because one person liked a book doesn't mean you will like the book. Or if you loved a book doesn't necessarily mean another person's going to fall in love with it too. I think that's the beauty with reading, and it just houses so much room for discussion as well. Like I know a lot of my friends, they read not as avidly as me, but they have read some books that I have read, and when they've come up to it and I'm like, oh yeah, I read that last year, how did you find it? And we just talk about it and it's so much fun. So this is definitely a great world to kind of dip your toe into, see if you like it. Now, if you're not a book reader, like physical tangible book, you can listen to audiobooks. Okay, listening to an audiobook is still reading a book. I don't care what these technicalities are. Okay, listening to a book is still reading a book. You are still comprehending what is being read to you. Okay, So if you need to start off with audiobooks or listen to the audiobook while reading the book and do an immersive read, we call that, then go ahead, do it. Do what's best for you and what works for you, because I think reading is just a beautiful thing to start doing. 2025 was my second year of being an avid reader. I started in 2024 with a lot of books. So I have read over 150 books, because I did technically start reading back in 2023, 2022, slowly. Did a lot of nonfiction before I switched over to the fiction side. But don't overwhelm yourself. Don't put so much pressure and expectation of yourself. Or because you see Sally over here reading 14 books in a month, doesn't mean that you have to. Okay? If you read one book a month, fabulous. That's 12 books a year. That's double digits. Okay? Don't pressure yourself. Don't force yourself to make reading a chore, because it's something that you should be enjoying. It's a hobby. So it's going to probably be difficult at the start to carve out time for yourself to read. I always recommend reading a chapter or two before bed. So if you go to bed at 9 o'clock, go to bed at 8:30, quarter to. Give yourself some time to sit down and read for a little bit. You don't have to read 100 pages in an hour. I know a lot of people can do that. I can't even do that. An hour, I'm happy if I hit 50 pages in an hour, because I'm so immersed in the world and the context and what I'm reading that, yeah, it just doesn't happen for me. I'm not the fastest reader in the world. Now, if a physical book is not for you, because I know that sometimes having the physical book can kind of trigger some kind of dyslexic association. I've seen and heard about that. Try reading on your phone, on Kindle or something, or an app on your phone. Try reading, because obviously you've been trained to read on your phone because we're on them every day. Okay? Or if you have an iPad or a laptop, try reading on those devices. If a physical book is hard for you, try that. That's another great alternative. I have a Kindle that I love reading from, as well as a book, and I feel like I do read faster on the Kindle, being that digital screen. So give it a go, okay? You don't have to buy a Kindle straight off. Try reading off your phone or your laptop, like I said, and then go from there. At the end of the day, reading is reading. Whether it's through an audiobook, through an ebook, or a physical book, reading is reading. Now, I think I have said everything that I've wanted to say. So grab a drink, get cozy, and let's go through my kind of curated beginner's guide to romance books. Okay, so I have my laptop here. Like I said, I have kind of like 5 tiers, 5 steps to kind of start with. Now, what I want you to do is I want you just to kind of think about the things that I'm talking about, so the tropes that I'm talking about, and if you have a pull towards them. If I'm telling you about a story and the storyline and the preface of the book and it's intriguing to you, then that's great. If you have no interest in reading it, then that's so fine. I'm not just recommending these books to you, but I'm also recommending these authors to you, because a lot of these books are very digestible, very relatable. So that's why I'm starting off with romance, because a lot of these are set in our world, our times, most of them anyways. And like some of them are just in New York City. We all know New York City, okay? So it's very easy to understand, tangible. Yeah, a lot of these are low pressure as well. Standalones, they are a part of interconnected standalone series. So there is like maybe 4 books, but you can read them by themselves, okay? There's no necessarily like series you have to read, but if you want to continue because I recommended one of the standalones to you, then go ahead. Great, I'm so happy for you. But if you don't, you don't have to, okay? Your journey is your journey, okay? So tier 1, step 1, whatever we're calling it, I don't know. These are easy, cozy starters. Low pressure, standalones, they're comforting. They're like a warm hug, okay? Now, the first one, I actually recommended to my friend first to read, and she has been, and she's loving it, and that is When in Rome by Sarah Adams, okay? This is a closed-door romance. There's no spice scenes in it at all. It's implied, so you're not getting that intensity straight up. You don't have to read it, okay? So this is a standalone, so there's no commitment. There is, however, 3 other books that follow this. So the first book is about the brother Noah, and then there's 3 other books that follow his 3 sisters, right? You don't have to read those, but it is an interconnected standalone that you can read all 4 if you want. The 4th one just came out actually on the 30th of December. Are you right there, man? Sorry, my dog's just here. But where was I? Yeah. So the fourth book just came out. I'm yet to read it though, but I read the other two that follow When in Rome, and it is great. Those are great. The third book has spice in it, very mild, not really detailed. So it is like a good gradual kind of series to start off with if you wanted to read it all. But anyways, up to you. So this is a small town grumpy ex sunshine. He is a pie shop owner and she is a pop star. There's forced proximity in this. It is a very slow burn. There's also an opposites attract situation. So they're very opposite in terms of their personalities and their lifestyles. And there is a found family in this. So being a small town, tight-knit group, busybodies, there's just these people and characters that show up in the book that is so heartwarming and endearing, and they're just there. So that is what we call a found family. They're friends or people within the story that keep popping up, and they're there for our main characters. All right. So this book, it really does feel like a romantic comedy movie in all the best ways. So basically the preface of the story is a burnt out pop star escapes her fame and ends up stranded in a tiny town called Rome, Kentucky. When her car breaks down, she finds herself standing with a grumpy pie shop owner who wants nothing to do with the celebrity drama. What starts as an inconvenience slowly turns into a quiet, cozy romance that feels like a romance comedy movie come to life. I really love this book. All right, so we have Amelia. She's the pop star. She loves Audrey Hepburn. When in Rome, Roman Holiday is her favorite movie. So she's like, you know what? I want to go to Rome, but she ends up at Rome, Kentucky, obviously. Her car breaks down in front of Noah's house. It's going to take her 2 weeks to get a car fixed. She can't stay anywhere in town because the inn is full booked. So Noah was like, look, I have a spare bedroom. You can stay there for 2 weeks until it's done. And it blossoms from there. That's basically the preface of the story. It's sweet, it's cozy, it is the perfect first book to start reading or get you back into reading. It's a great introduction into characters and plot and a small town, getting your head around a storyline. I think the book is maybe like 320 pages too, so it's not a great commitment. When in Rome by Sarah Adams is a phenomenal start. Now, also within this category, we have Funny Story by Emily Henry, okay? So this is a forced proximity kind of roommates to lovers situation in a small town. We have slow burn. It is a reverse grumpy ex sunshine. So the female main character is the grumpy and the male main character is the sunshine. We have fake dating in this as well. So it's a bit different. It is funny, but there's a bit of an emotional impact in there as well. It's super easy to visualize with how Emily Henry has written it, and it's very readable, okay, very digestible. There are 3 spice scenes in it, but they're very low explicit, okay? There's not great detail in them. So it's not going to be intense or shocking. It's a slow build up. It's going to be tangible for you to read, and you're not going to be grossed out by like, why am I reading all of this explicit content? Because you're not used to it. You've got to build it up, okay? So after a messy breakup, 2 people find themselves living together after their exes got engaged to each other. It's awkward, uncomfortable, and surprisingly funny as they navigate heartbreak, healing, and unexpected connection. A slow burn romance begins to form that's just as emotional as it is charming. So yeah, I listened to this one, I'm pretty sure. It's a really fun read, actually, that one is. And it was the banter and the dialogue between the 2 characters. I remember laughing so much. So this is great for easing you into the romance, into the spice, into a bit of some emotional depth as well. But it's not overwhelming. I think it's a good place to start if you're like, look, I do want to kind of dip my toe into the spice. I think this book is a very good place to start. And having the fake dating and the roommates, it's just a lot of tension building. Okay, a lot of tension building. So I think for a hopeless romantic or someone that loves yearning, I think that this is a good start as well. Now, number 2, tier 2 is fun romantic comedies, but that is still very much beginner friendly. We have The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. This is being made into a movie. I think it's going to release this year, actually. So we have fake dating. We have funny and approachable writing. We have low to moderate kind of spice in there as well. It's introducing us to the romantic comedy plus a STEM vibe, okay? So STEM is women in science, So we have a scientist pretending to date her professor colleague to convince her best friend she's moved on, accidentally finds herself in a very convincing fake relationship. So what starts as a plan quickly spirals into something very real as both characters confront their feelings, insecurities, and an unexpected chemistry between them. So we have Olive, she's a PhD student. We have Adam, who is a professor there. Not her professor, but he is a professor there. Okay, so it is a workplace romance. It is pretty much forbidden, but actually no, it's not forbidden, sorry. It's forced proximity because they're always got to be together. But yeah, it's fake dating as well, just so she can convince her friend that she's moved on, that she can go date this other guy that she went on a date with because her best friend wasn't going to date him. And it's just like, yeah, girl, I'm cool. But apparently words weren't enough. So she had to mac on with Adam in the hallway. Now they're fake dating, but it kind of grows from there. Adam is very sweet as a character. There is a bit of an age gap between them as well, obviously, her being a PhD student and him being a professor. But Ali Hazelwood has a book for everyone. If you look at her catalogue of work, she has very spicy books, she has beautiful STEM books, she has some paranormal romances as well. I will forever recommend Ali Hazelwood, and I think I have another one of hers a bit later on that I'll recommend as well. But she was one of the very first authors that I kind of introduced myself into, and I love her catalogue of work. Like I said, she has a book for everyone. It's fantastic. It's phenomenal. Her writing is just great. She has a few audio only books as well that I highly recommend listening to. They're so much fun. But anyways, this is just a great intro into Ali Hazelwood. It wasn't my first book I read, The Love Hypothesis, but I think it's a very good start. Very, very good start. Now, the next author I'm going to tell you to go look at is Tessa Bailey. She is the queen of romantic comedies. She has just such great books. I actually named one of her books that I read one of the happiest books that I read last year, because I was just reading it, I was just giggling. I was having such a good time throughout the entire book. I loved it. And that is Fangirl Down, okay? So this is a sports romantic comedy. Yeah, it's a sports romantic comedy, okay? And it is such a clear, funny story to just immerse yourself in. The tropes are easy. The romance was straightforward. It wasn't confusing. Yeah, I love the story, love the plot. So we have Wells. He is a professional golfer at the lowest point in his career. Reluctantly, he teams up with his biggest fan, Josephine. She is a woman who believes in him even when he doesn't believe in himself. Their relationship is playful, flirty, and filled with banter as admiration slowly burns and it turns into something much deeper. So he is very much a grumpy guy from the beginning, which we love a grumpy man. And Josephine is just this happy, bright spark. And when he starts being very protective, not obsessive, but like in a good way, all right, he's there for her. Like she's his caddy, and there's no female caddy locker room, so he makes sure that at the events they go to, she has her own room because she's the only female caddy. Like, it's that sort of stuff. It's the silence behind it, and it's the thought and the consideration. It's great. Tessa Bailey is definitely the author if you want something that is fun and flirty. It's just her formula is the same, but it hits every single time. So I highly recommend Fangirl Down. Now we have step 3, tier 3, which is emotional but accessible. So the first one we're starting off with is Maybe in Another Life by Jenkins Reid. So this is minimal spice, okay, but it's very heavy on the story and the plot, and it explores a lot of what ifs and life choices. How do I say this? It makes you feel the feelings without being too heavy. I think that's the best way to say it. So one night, one choice changes everything. This story follows a woman at a crossroads, showing two versions of her life depending on a single decision she makes. Both timelines explore love, fate, and what it really means to choose the right person and the right life. So we follow a dual timeline. So you're having two stories at once. So this is where we start getting a bit complex with our stories. That's why I wanted to recommend this, because there's no spice or anything in it. It's about the story. It's about the plot and her. and you're following her through these two different stories, and there's two different guides in it, and it is so beautifully written. Anything that Taylor Jenkins read is beautifully written, but this is a very good start to it. It's not a great big hefty book either. Just the emotional impact that this book has at the end is phenomenal. It's bittersweet. It's not what you would expect it to be. I highly recommend this. It's just something different. It's a book that has meaning to it, not just romance. And if that's what you're after, I highly recommend this. Now, the next book in this little step 3 category is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I just read this and devoured it. It is a short read as well. It's under 350 pages. It is a soft, magical realism, okay? There's romance, there's grief in it as well. There's such a gentle pacing when you're reading it. It was so easy to understand and digestible. It's emotional, but it's also very, very cozy. So we have Clementine. She moves into a late aunt's apartment and meets a man who lives there, but he lives 7 years in the past. As they grow closer across time, she's forced to confront grief, timing, and whether love can survive when the odds are impossible. So she has her aunt's apartment, which is kind of like a pinch in time. So every now and then it'll convert 7 years into the past. So one day she walks out and there's just this strange man that's in her kitchen, and the whole apartment has just reverted 7 years into the past. So it goes from there. It is such a beautiful, beautiful love story. If you want to feel something a lot deeper than these light, fluffy romantic comedies, then definitely I suggest reading this as well. It is different with having that pinch in time, but that's a lot of Ashley Poston's work. It's very whimsical, very magical realism. It's great. Now we're going into step 4, tier kind of 4. So this is your introduction into spice. It's a gradual introduction. So it's starting to get more spicy, more explicit, a fun time. Okay. So the first one I'm going to recommend is How to Break My Heart by Kat T. Mason. So this is a second chance romance. It is also a billionaire trope, which is such a good hook. It's emotional, not explicitly overloading though, and there is such a clearly defined storyline. So we have Ava, who is a cafe owner in a charming small town and is forced to work closely with the billionaire brother of her best friend. His name is Ashton. He also happens to be the man who broke her heart years and years ago. I think they just came out of high school when he did. So old feelings resurface as they navigate unresolved history, lingering chemistry, and whether love deserves a second chance. So this is such a beautiful, beautiful read. I really like this. This was second chance done very well. Having that billionaire trope in there alongside the small town really gives you that diverse trope range, whether you like it or not. The second chance is something new. I personally have found a new love for second chance. I don't know why. I don't know why. It didn't end badly as well, so I can respect that. If it was like cheating or something, no, don't condone, don't care. But this was just a lot of miscommunication, and I think that was a very good start, kind of climax to it all, and a story that kind of gets unraveled as you read. It's very, very well written, very easy, very tangible, very understandable, very digestible. God, how many more I'm just going to come up with? But yeah, again, short book. All of these are very short books. I think all of these books that I've recommended are all under 400 pages. So they're nothing intense. They're all interconnected standalones as well, most of them. Most of them are just standalone, so you don't have to read more than one book if you don't want to. So yeah, I highly recommend this book if you're like, yeah, cool, I can handle spice now. Like, I'm okay to read it, but give me a plot. You know what I mean? Now, a second book in this category I'm going to suggest is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. So this is a more mature tone than The Love Hypothesis. There's strong chemistry. It's academic rivals. Slightly higher in the spice category as well. So we have a theoretical physicist juggling multiple versions of herself, and she crosses paths with a man who could ruin her career and her carefully constructed life. What begins as rivalry slowly turns into a connection as she's forced to confront both professional ambition and emotional vulnerability. So yeah, Jack is the main male character in this. He is someone that you are going to fall in love with very quickly. This book, again, is very more mature in terms of its tone and its writing. There's a lot more plot to this and a lot more backstory with both characters that kind of put them to where they are now. I think the rivals to lovers trope is such a great trope because it's quite funny when you can see them rivaling for each other and then you just see one person start to tip the connection, start to have a bit of interest, that it turns more from rivalry into banter, cute teasing kind of thing. It's a sweet, sweet thing to read. So I think Love Theoretically is the perfect book to pick up when you're comfortable with your romance basics. So when you're comfortable with a bit more spice, you're understanding plot, but you also are accepting that emotional depth to it and you want something that isn't so fluffy and flirty all the time, but something that has a cause, something that has a reason. Definitely Love Theoretically and How to Break My Heart are those. So that was tier 4. Now, lastly, we have step 5, tier 5, and this is the sports romances. All right. So after easing you into romance, God, when you enter the sport romance world, it is something else. The first book is Collide by Bell Carber. This is the enemies to lovers, academic, cross athlete. We have emotional build up, and the spice in this is less shocking than, say, Icebreaker. So we have an ambitious honors student who is forced to work closely with the captain of her university's hockey team after a team scandal threatens their season. What starts as a mutual annoyance turns into a sharp banter, unexpected understanding, and a romance neither of them saw coming. So it is very much a slow burn. She's an academic who's there for her studies. He is the captain of the ice hockey team. So you definitely get the college vibe within this. It is so beautiful, the found family and the people around them as well. I do think that this has so much emotional depth and important things to talk about as well. It is a good time though. The banter is hilarious. The teasing is hilarious. I had such a good time reading this. This is a first book in, again, an interconnected standalone. I think the 4th book comes out this year. I'm not sure when, maybe March. I like to think March. If you just want to kind of bridge that gap between sports and then romance, this is a perfect book to start with. And then, of course, the one that everyone gets recommended is Icebreaker, so by Hannah Grace. It is very spicy. It is long. It is, again, college setting. So we have a competitive figure skater and a captain of the ice hockey team that are forced to share a rink after facilities mishaps. As tension builds both on and off the ice, their rivalry turns into a steamy romance that's bold, emotional, and not for the faint-hearted. So there are some heavier topics in this as well, like an eating disorder. I think, how do I explain it? So he's very much the sunshine, she's the grumpy. You can get frustrated reading this. It is very spicy, so there's a lot of lust to begin with before the romance and love actually shows itself. But this is such a beautiful read. It's a beautiful series. Once you definitely get a hold of your romantic basics, I think, purely because of the spice and the explicit scenes. It's very out there. It's very raunchy. Definitely don't think it's something you should start in if you're not comfortable reading about that, or if you know you're not comfortable reading about that sort of stuff. But it definitely is a book to read and pick up. I think everyone should. But yeah, so those were my 5 kind of steps, tiers with 10 books kind of throughout them. I hope that this whole video has helped you kind of understand what you want to read, what tropes you might be into, where to kind of start, that you're not so overwhelmed. I hope that this can point you in the trajectory of actually starting your reading journey or getting back into it if you want to get back into it. This is romance only, as I said, and as you can see, I do want to do a romantasy one, but I think I need to dabble a little bit into reading a few more before I can start recommending more beginner friendly stuff, because I went head in with Fourth Wing first and straight into the ACOTAR series, and I don't think that's very practical. I don't think it's a great place to start if you're not used to reading. So start with your romances. We'll go from there. Please let me know in the comments how you go, or if you have any other suggestions that I could add to a video like this, because I really love reading, and I want people to not be so overwhelmed by what they're looking at online when they type in books to begin reading, because there's so many different things to start with that you could start with, and people suggest a lot of their favorites. So these are favorites of mine, but they're so well thought out in terms of what they are. As I was explaining them, why they're really good places to start. You got a wide variety of tropes and storylines and authors as well. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want more bookish content. Also too, I will leave my handle for my socials on the screen if you want to come join the bookish chaos in those areas as well. But guys, thank you again so much for watching. So wherever you are in the world, I hope you have a great day or night and a happy new year, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.